Hello folks and welcome back to Medieval Total War. I am Conostip and this is going to be part 12 of my early campaign where I'm playing as Aragon. And things have finally really started to turn around for me here because I have just about united the Iberian Peninsula. There is still a garrison here in Portugal, but I can take care of this in just one turn. Otherwise they would last for 4 years if I just kind of let them, but I'm not going to let them because I want Portugal now. And one of the reasons why I want Portugal now is because even though I am at peace with the Almohads, in fact we are allies, this is a sizable army here in Morocco. And although I do have a bit of a force here in Cordoba, I don't know if it's enough, to be honest. So I kind of do want some of this army that my king has back here in Cordoba. In fact, I probably can bring some units down right now to help out, because I don't think I need all of this army to take this castle. The main thing is this mangonel is going to get me into the castle, and then the rest of it, yeah, I probably can bring some of them over to Cordoba to help me hold this. Because if I look at this army, yeah, it's just mostly light cav, and then, you know, peasants and a few archers, and then the Gulam bodyguards. But that's the thing about this game, is that I have been surprised before by the overwhelming shock of just a bunch of cav, even light cav. And even though upon first glance, if you look at my army here and you see the 3 spearmen, in fact they're good spearmen, feudal sergeants, you know, these are the tier 2s, and then some urban militias, some armor piercing troops, some archers, you know, Spanish unités, feudal men at arms, royal knights, you might think like, yeah, I have a good chance against just a horde of light cav, but I could get surprised as well. It really does depend. And then I do have another feudal sergeant. Yeah, so I have 4 feudal sergeants. I have a 5th one on the way. So if they attack, then I would have 5. So I might end up being okay. If I hide in a forest, perhaps. But then they also have this forest as well. A few archers, some camels. Yeah, it's best overall just to kind of not let that fight happen in the first place, I think. So if I can bring this king's army down, not this turn, but then the next turn, to kind of just, you know, help hold this and dissuade the Almohads from attacking me, that would be preferable, in my opinion. So for now, I'm just going to be mostly focusing on building up my boats, working on my trade empire. I have a few built up, you know, I've already reached out to here with my boats, and I would need a few more to reach Antioch for that crusade objective. But I have plenty of time. That crusade objective ends at 1204, so I have a bit of time left. And yeah, I can just keep focusing on making money. Once Portugal's mine, I can start building that up as well, you know, because there's trade resources here. And for now, even though I'm making a decent income at 1400, I think I'm just going to be focusing on, yes, building a fort here in Leon, building a border fort here in Navarre, building a boat in Valencia, training up some more spearmen here in Cordoba. And that's probably going to be it. I don't want to go too crazy here. I want to make sure that I can get everything settled down and get enough boats in the water to where I'm making enough money. Once I'm at Antioch, then I'll just be one more boat away from having a boat on the Nile coast. And the Nile coast is a very, very good sea province to be in, because 3 ports is going to make me quite a bit of money. Egypt, Palestine, and Tripoli all have good trade resources, I believe. And also, in addition to that, trade works both ways. You know, you export your own goods and you also import theirs. So having these, I'm pretty sure the trade resources in these provinces are pretty rare. So this is a good region to have. Even getting into the Black Sea, because there's 3 ports up here right now, that would be really good for me as well. So yeah, that's going to be the priority. Other than that, I mean, I'm at peace with everyone, you know, knock on wood. The French don't have too large of armies here bordering me, so I'm not too worried about them. And I have some decent forces as well. Over time, as I'm building up my own forces, I can eventually start to disband these mercenaries, because I don't necessarily want them to keep them long term. I just need them to hold the line for me right now until I get my own forces going. And yeah, there's enough economy to be had here in Iberia when it comes to my trade resources. So I'm not too worried. Oh yeah, I could get a silver mine complex going in Granada, but eventually, I'll work on that eventually. Ooh, and a castle and ring wall. I think that's the first defensive upgrade for the castle, I believe. That wouldn't be a bad idea either, but I'm already building a few other things this turn, so I want to keep it at that. Let's make sure that I'm attacking this castle, and let's end this turn. Actually, before I end this turn, something just to take note of, for those of you who are only watching this campaign and are not watching my Almohads campaign, something that was brought to my attention by one of my viewers, and this is really, really awesome advice. This is a good tip. I probably could have, maybe should have picked up on this by myself, but I did not. So, for those of you who don't know this, because I didn't know this, if you want to know who your actual, next in line heir is, it's going to be the name that's highlighted in red. It's that obvious. I should have known. And that explains how you end up with situations like Prince Alfonso. He's 31, right? Well, he's the king's brother. And same with Prince Sancho. So Prince Fernando is the king's actual son, so he is the next in line. If he didn't exist, I'd assume that it would be Prince Alfonso. And then we have the other two sons of the king, Prince Garc and Prince Ferdinand, on their way as well. So that is, that's worth keeping an eye on. So if I take a look at Prince Fernando, what's he like? 4 dread, 4 command, pretty good stuff as far as, being a leader and being a combat leader. Acumen's pretty low, so he's not going to really help our economy too much. Killer instinct, so 2 valor. He's going to be a good fighter. Strange is not good. That's going to be -1 morale for his army, -10 happiness for his people. So that's not a good one. Scant mercy, this is what I get for killing prisoners during a battle. +1 dread. Fervent. +1 piety, +10% zeal when governing. Okay, so he's going to make my people more zealous. Then he's also an honorable warrior, so +1 morale and -1 dread. So this kind of counteracts the whole strange thing. So he has -1 morale for this, and then +1. So he's strange and he's an honorable warrior. He's fervent. This guy can't really make up his mind. He doesn't know who he wants to be. Overall, though, if we just kind of look at the stats, it's okay. I mean, it's obviously pretty good in a battle. Decent piety. Not great acumen, though. But then if we look at my oldest brother, he is not great. So yeah, I'd rather have, obviously Prince Fernando rather than Prince Alfonso. And greed, brave beyond belief. So he's going to be a really good fighter. I mean, ooh, +3 morale. Wow, okay. Okay, so these guys are going to fight to the death. That's really good. Good +3 valor as well. Okay, yeah. Actually, any concerns that I initially had about this army holding off against the Almohads army is now completely gone. This army is going to fight to the death. So they will do just fine against this horde of light cav. Yeah, that's a good one. Even though he's otherwise he's kind of pedestrian. I mean, that's a really good trait there. So that's good. And who's my other guy? I believe it's going to be Sancho up here. Yeah, Prince Sancho, 23. And good acumen. So what I have in mind is, and this is something I haven't really experimented with much with my other campaigns, but once these guys, these uncles, basically, are no longer part of the, part of this, part of the heirs status, once they're not, applicable for being an heir at some point, they just become a regular kind of general / royal knight unit. And at that point, I do believe they become, what's the word? They become available for, they could be a governor, right? I'm pretty sure that's the case, right? So you can't make someone a governor if they're part of the family, but then once they kind of age out of that and they're kind of passed over, then they can be a governor, I think. And if that's the case, it's going to be worth keeping an eye on Prince Sancho, because 5 acumen's pretty goddamn good. He's also a great warrior, +5 health. Yeah, and he has good dread as well, so it's worth keeping an eye on him. The king is pretty pedestrian. 3 command, 3 dread, 3 piety, 2 acumen. Natural leader's a good one for that +2 morale. And yeah, scant mercy for also killing prisoners during a battle. But yeah, he's 53, he's getting up there, so it's going to be Prince Fernando's turn. Prince Fernando, yeah, it's going to be your turn pretty soon here. Everyone's married, so I don't need to send my emissary to go looking for wives. That should be fine. Ooh, this is... Yikes. Loyalty's 49. Oh, I moved... Oh, right. Okay, I moved this army from Cordoba, or to Cordoba from Portugal, thinking that I could use them to dissuade the Almohads from attacking me, but you know what? Let's go back here and make sure that we actually hold on to Portugal. I'm glad I checked that. My goodness, that would have sucked to have to fight a big old rebellion here in Portugal. But I think that's going to be it for now, so let's just drop a save and end this turn. Hey, what happened? I told my king to attack the castle, and he didn't attack. I think... Is it because I moved the army back into Portugal that kind of canceled the attack? Oh, that's annoying. Man. Alright, well, I guess I'll attack them this turn. Border fort is completed here in Navarre, and then... Healing Visionary. Hildegard, the prioress of Bingen, has achieved acclaim for her worthy powers of healing and her scholarship in the medical field. She has also published 2 books and is known as a visionary, who has been encouraged and praised by archbishops and even the Pope. After she wrote of her visions, her presence bolsters the Catholic Church in Germany and grants +1 health in Germany. Interesting. I wonder what that means. Because health isn't really something that is talked about much, except for when we're talking about traits for generals. So is that it? Does just every unit general get +1 health? I don't know. It's a weird one. There's a lot of weird things like that just aren't really explained in this game. So yeah, I don't really know what that is. The Danes want to be my friends. I'm totally cool with that. Let's be friends, Danes. I just want to trade with you. The English want to be my friends, and I would love to be friends with the English, but the French are my are my neighbors, so no. And I have a daughter on the way. As we move on into the next turn, we have an Inquisition update. Some disturbing reports from the Inquisition in Portugal. It appears that an Inquisitor has taken it upon himself to try, judge, and execute one of your generals. This situation needs attention before more forces are lost. Inquisitor Don Alberto Albergati, the accused Jean de Verle. So was he actually found guilty? I'm not sure. So, Inquisitors are very interesting. They kind of are assassins. There's a lot to be said about them, and only some of it is understood by myself. They are assassins, so they can be used to kill generals as long as they are Catholic. So it's not going to work on a Byzantine general because they're Orthodox, and it's not going to work on the Muslims. And then the other things that they do... Well, actually, before I move on. So the way it works with trying a general of heresy is that it depends on the piety of the general, and then I think that's matched up with the experience of the Inquisitor himself. So a really pious general is going to be really tough to try of heresy because, you know, his nature and his actions speak for himself. He's a pious guy. He's not a heretic. But you actually can end up killing, you know, unpious kings and heirs and generals with Inquisitors. It's actually pretty powerful. And then you can get Grand Inquisitors, which kind of are like geishas from Shogun. Like, they're really, really tough guys who just kind of go around killing everyone. The other thing that Inquisitors do is that they raise zeal in provinces. And that's something, it's a weird thing. It gives you a message like this, which looks pretty terrible, right? It like shows them kind of, I don't know, burning a lot of people. And it says that a lot of people have been burned, which sounds bad. It sounds like your territory might be losing some population. But from my understanding of it is that Inquisitors raise zeal in a province when they just kind of hang out there. And what that has an effect on is with a province that has high zeal, then if a crusade passes through it, then a lot of the men and the armies that are stationed there are going to join that crusade, even if it's a crusade from another faction. So if you want to prepare your neighbor's lands for your crusade to pass through it, you can place your Inquisitors on the path that your crusade's going to take raise the zeal in these provinces, and then end up taking, having a lot of these men from these armies join you. And you can kind of, in a way, pillage your neighbor's armies that way. So that's really good. But then what happens is that they will raise zeal to such a point that they've burned so many people that zeal lowers. The province is tired of this shit. They're tired of the Inquisitor. They're just burnt out, pun intended. So it's an interesting wave of how this goes. It can be kind of a hard thing to plan for, because you can place Inquisitors in the path of a crusade to raise the zeal, but if they're there too long without a crusade passing through, then the zeal's going to lower, and you've kind of defeated the purpose of that tactic. So that's interesting. In addition to that, I'm trying to think of what else. How else does zeal matter again? I think zeal matches up with the piety of the governor. So that might be another tactic, right? If you use your scouts to find out that a governor of a particular province has low piety, then perhaps a strategy that you can use to form a rebellion in that province is to place an Inquisitor there, raise the zeal, and then potentially they will go rebel against their governor because he has low piety. I think that's a strategy as well that I'm thinking of. But yeah, in any case, really interesting unit, really interesting agent that's available. They're also available to me, of course, because I'm also a Catholic faction. And if I remember correctly, Aragon actually does have a faction discount to Inquisitors and Grand Inquisitors. It's an interesting thing because in Shogun, you're told right at the beginning of the campaign, when you go to that faction page, it's going to tell you what units your faction has a discount on. In Medieval, it doesn't tell you that at all. There's no information, but it actually is a real thing. Each faction, from what I know, they do have discounts on certain agents and or units. And I didn't know about this until I went to the Medieval Total War Wiki, online, and found out about this, which is really, really interesting. It's just too bad it's not in the game. You can't find out about it unless you go on the internet and just do a bunch of, deep dives like I do. So yeah, it's a really cool thing. So I will definitely be using Inquisitors at some point in this campaign. I'm not there yet. It looks like this is the Papal States. So yeah, typical Pope sending some Inquisitors to burn my generals. I'm wondering. So I think that this means that he hasn't been killed yet. So I need to look at Jean de Vere and see how his piety is, and then try to figure out what his chances are of him dying. So yeah, I did remember to put the castle assault in this time. I swear I did it the last time too, but I think just moving back that army from Cordoba did somehow cancel that attack. So in any case, let's go in here and fight this battle and get it over with. I am all set up. Let's get this started. Right away, have my Mangonel start shooting at the gate. And as per usual, I do like to have at least 3 modes of entry into every castle, so I will be entering from the gate and then the wall on either side. So I will have my archers start to shoot at this wall over here. And then I will have my archers start to shoot at this wall on the left as well. On either flank, I have some spearmen, some archers, and then a couple units that are good at flanking. So like on this side, I have some woodsmen, which is an axe unit. They have 2-handed axes, so they have good armor piercing. It's a pretty cheap unit overall, pretty weak, or pretty bad stats, but it does have that armor piercing, so it can do a bit of damage that way. Archers, can you shoot? No, not quite yet, so let's get you in range here so you can start shooting at that wall. Horse archers kind of move up a little bit. And then how about up here? Are you guys in range yet? Enemy gate has fallen. So you guys can move forward here. But we still need to get some. We're a little bit behind. That Mangonel's way too fast. It's way too fast at breaking down that gate because yeah, I don't have any holes in the walls yet. How about, let's see, Mangonel, how about you Maybe I can get some shots in on these Spanish unités here. And then let's start bringing my feudal sergeants in on this side. And then archers are shooting at this stockade here. And then how about on this side? Are we shooting? Yes, we are shooting. And now my archers are just tearing these unités apart. In fact, I might not even have to go in there. I might just be able to just kind of let my archers shoot these guys to pieces. And then bring my spearmen in at the end just to kind of clean them up. Right now we are getting through the wall on this side, so I can bring up my spearmen here and then my feudal men-at-arms. And horse archers can come forward so they can get some shots on these unités. And then on this side as well, I can bring forward my woodsmen and then my spearmen and my feudal sergeants. And then my horse archers can also come forward to get some shots in on those unités. And yeah, king can kind of hang back here. What do we have left? Just yeah, unités getting ripped to shreds by my archers.
Soldiers have breached the enemy walls.
At this rate, it's not going to take long for this unit to get wiped out, so there's no point in me even going in there. I'm just going to let my archers tear him to pieces. In fact, although, oh, he's going to, oh, there he goes. And that's going to be it. Easy peasy. I only lost 18 men. Not bad. Now Portugal's mine, so I really wish that I'd done that in the last turn. That's okay, though. It's now mine. I did pillage some money. And yes, looks like the Hungarians are pretty happy folks. Good for them. The Word of God. Although the North is Christian, at times it seems like the old religions are still lurking in the darker forests. Eric's efforts on behalf of the church have been prodigious, and the Catholic Church is bolstered throughout Scandinavia by its achievements. So what is that saying? Like, what is it saying? It's saying that there's more Christians in the North, I guess, is what that's saying. Let's see. So, all right. The Germans want to be my friends, but they're at war with the French, so the answer is no. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. You just have to kind of figure this one out by your own self, because, yeah, I was using the princess to kind of spy on them. I have some emissaries here that I can use to kind of spy. Because they're pushing out here. Yeah, they're making some moves, and I feel like the Germans, I don't know, yeah, I wonder how far they've been pushed back. I can try to keep an eye on that. And speaking of keeping an eye on things, it looks like the Egyptians are putting up a fight without the Turks, you know, in existence. The Egyptians are fighting the Byzantines on their own, and they have Lesser Armenia, they have Rum. I think the Byzantines have Trebizond. And I'm going to see who has Anatolia. I just want to continue to keep an eye on this. Portugal now needs a governor, and Don Alfonso de la Cerda, I think you're the man for the job. Although, you know, actually, maybe I need to look a little harder. Because as I was saying before, Portugal is pretty rebellious. And they have high zeal, 57%. You know, gosh, it's hard to know. Where was he? Where was he? So, 5 piety is good, so that would match up well with the 57% zealousness of Portugal, but some dread would be good as well, and that's something as well that I don't really know how to balance out. Dread is how you keep population loyalty in order, right? But piety also matters for zealous provinces. But how do those things even out? I don't know the answer to that. And in a province that is both rebellious and zealous, like Portugal is, it seems like a person with more dread would be better. Ooh, okay. Okay, see, that's the problem, though. Don Sancho Sanchez has only 2 acumen. So, yes, he has some dread, he has a crap ton of piety, but he only has 2 acumen. I mean, it's... So, like, the governorship for Portugal will bring another point of acumen, so I could find someone with just 3, if it came to that. So let's continue to look. If I were to choose between Don Sancho Sanchez, with his 4 loyalty and a crap ton of piety, and then this guy, Don Rodrigo Antolines, It's pretty similar in stats. Dread and Acumen's the same, but this guy has a bunch more loyalty, and he has one less piety. I'm tempted to go with Sanchez, though, Sancho Sanchez, just because the governorship will offer another point of loyalty. So I'm not too concerned about this man's 4 loyalty. And that extra point of piety might be good enough to help out with the, the population loyalty. God-fearing but persuasive, this man can whip up the faithful masses into a frenzy. Should he call for support, a sizable force would muster to meet his request. Interesting. I wonder what that means. Yeah, I don't really know. Is that implying something that I should know of? Huh. I wonder what that means. Does piety determine the size of crusades? Is that what that means? If that's the case, I don't think I've ever heard of that. Huh, that's okay. I'm really curious now. If anyone, if by all means, if you know more about this, please let me know. I feel like I've read what's available to me as far as information's concerned, in the manual. But there's definitely a lot that was left out in explaining this game, whether it's in the manual and even in whatever guides I've come across on the internet. In any case, though, I think Sancho Sanchez is going to be my guy. Yeah, I would prefer more acumen for sure, but hopefully he gets more acumen. He's going to get another point of acumen from here, and hopefully he gets some more. So how about I look at this? I'm on very low taxes. Loyalty is at 138%, and I'm making an income of 125. So 138, 125. So let's put this on you. Just making a little bit more money, not much. Loyalty goes up a bunch. Zeal stays the same. Yeah, it would have been nicer to make more off of him, but it's very low taxes, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. That's a good boost to loyalty for sure. So that's going to help me move my armies from Portugal faster. So let's get going with a watchtower right now that will also boost population loyalty. And yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, I feel good about that. Yeah, I like that a lot. So I'm going to continue building boats here in Valencia and Aragon. And everywhere else, I might just kind of... Yeah, I'm making 1,500. So it's like good, but like not crazy good. So for now, I think I do want to just kind of focus on boats in the water and or getting boats in the water. I will build up Portugal to the very minimal requirement. Same here in Leon. I need that fort so that I can build a trading post and then a port so that I can make money off Leon's trading resources of wool. And then same thing here in Portugal, which is, see, it's really too bad that attacking the castle, that got rid of that fort. So I need to rebuild that fort. And then a trading post, and then a port. So it's going to be a long process before Portugal's ready to make money. Yeah, and that's why I waited so long, quite frankly, to take Portugal. That's okay, though. I have time. And I'm still building boats in these provinces. So I will be able to have a Crusader army ready in, what do I have? 44 years before I need to take Antioch. So something that I should keep in mind is that I should eventually start looking at building a church. And here's the thing. It would be nice to launch crusades from Leon because Leon gives +1 valor to Knights of Santiago. Now, Knights of Santiago is not a unit that I can train. It's a unit that's gifted to me by launching crusades. That's the nice thing about crusades is it gives you good units. The Knights of Santiago is the Iberian Peninsula version of the chivalric knights. Chivalric knights are the tier 2 knights that are available to all Catholic factions, and they are devastating. Devastating. For some factions, they are the best heavy cav units that will be available to them. For Aragon, I will get a unit much later on in the campaign that is a better heavy cav unit than the Chivalric Knights. But Chivalric Knights are very, very good, and they're only available to you once you reach the high stage of this campaign, which I believe is 1204. So launching a crusade and getting access to some knights that have similar stats, I think they're actually completely identical to Chivalric Knights, before they're available, I can actually train my own Chivalric Knights, is going to be really, really good, because I can use those Knights of Santiago with +1 Valor to help me take Antioch, right? But then I don't need to keep them there. I can just kind of use them in other battles, which can be very, very good. Like, that's why you launch crusades, is that you get good units for them. But I don't think I can wait this long to get a chapter house going in Leon, because, as I just said, I need to already build a trading, finish building the port, and then build a trading post, and then a port, just so I can get my trade income coming out from Leon. In addition to that, then I'll need to build a church and then a chapter house, so that I can eventually launch crusades from here. And then crusades are something that need to be built as well. It takes I can't remember, is it 4 turns to build a crusade marker? I don't know. I guess in a pinch, perhaps I do technically have enough time for that. Yeah, without being able to do the math off the top of my head, what would that take me to? 1175 at the latest? Maybe 180, or 1180 at the latest, and that'd still give me 24 years. I mean, my plan is to simply sail there. I'm not going to be marching my crusade through Europe. I'm just going to use my ships to literally just land in Antioch and tank Antioch. That's it. If I had to march through all of these territories and through the Byzantines, that's the thing. The Catholic factions pretty much have to let my crusades pass, because if they say no to me, they're saying no to the Pope, and the Pope's going to be pissed. But the Orthodoxy in the Byzantines and the Muslims as well, they don't really give a shit, because why would they? So when a crusade asks politely to pass through their lands, they can just say, no, screw you. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing that. Obviously, it also takes a long time to go through all of these territories. So getting there is not going to be a big deal. I just have to simply, place my crusade marker here in Antioch, and then the crusade's launched. And then I can simply send a few armies with my crusade to make sure I take it, because I'm not going to let my crusade build over time. I'm simply just going to launch the crusade and then immediately, take Antioch. So I actually might have enough time to build my chapter house here in Leon. I might not have to rush a church in another province just yet. If I need to, I can always do that in Aragon. I think I can build a church right now, right? Yeah, I can build a church right now. It takes 4 years. Chapter house takes another, who knows, a couple of years, I suppose. So if I needed to, I can do that in Aragon, but I'm going to try to go for those +1 Valor Knights of Santiago here in Leon. That's going to be my goal going forward. And there goes my King of Aragon. Yes, he is dead. He's died of illness. Luckily, though, I have my heir, Prince Fernando, and he's still pretty young, so I'll keep an eye on him. Watchtower is completed here in Portugal, so now I can work on my border forts right away for just a little bit of extra population loyalty boost. And then I can go straight to, I can build a salt mine. Salt is the least valuable mining resource, but, it still helps out. Salt mine's super cheap as well, only 250 florins. But I do want to focus on getting a fort as soon as my border fort's finished, and then, I suppose, a port. Yeah. That's going to be the key there. One more turn before my fort in Leon is finished. And what else? I feel like I was just going to look at something. Oh yeah, my new king. Right. Yep. Yeah, you're looking good. You're married. You're 24. Super young. And yeah, this is all looking pretty good. Not good acumen. Did that affect my... Yeah, my income did go down. But that might have just been because I did train up some more soldiers. I'm just trying to get some more soldiers here in Cordoba, just to make sure that I'm safe here. Might be being a little bit paranoid. I probably could use some more soldiers on my northern borders, to be honest. And now this Inquisitor just keeps trying my generals. Now he's going after Eltez Gurgly. And Yeah, I'm assuming that he's actually accomplishing the whole killing part because it does say try, judge, and execute. So, yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. I don't have any assassins, so I can't even kill this Inquisitor. So I suppose that's something that I should take a look at because I can build a building that allows me to train assassins. All right, so the French have the strongest military. Good for them. And I have an heir that's matured, Prince Garg. Alrighty then. Border fort is complete in Portugal, and then fort is complete in Leon. And Prince Garg, let's take a look at you. So you're a drinker, -1 command. Not a good start. But you are a great warrior. Okay, so you're a drunk, but you're a good, you have a lot of health. So that alcohol is like your fortitude. It really helps you out there. Let's take a look at your stats to see how else you are. 3 command, not bad. Good loyalty, so I don't have to worry about him being a rebel or anything like that. And yeah, great warrior, drinker. All right, that is fine. Now I'm going to take a look at my heirs. So Prince Garg is my heir. And now the... So the uncles... So I thought that Fernando had brothers. But I suppose... I guess his brothers did not become of age in time? Yeah, I guess that's what that means. Yeah, I thought, yeah. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, so wait, Prince Garg, so you were my old king's son, correct? Right? Because this guy just became king. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little confused on that one. But I have another, royal knight that I can use. I'm probably going to keep him here at Aragon for now, just because I could use another general on this border, and I can bring this army further over, so I can kind of get them in Aragon as well. I don't think the French are going to attack me, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And same thing over here. I just want to have an army kind of sitting here in Cordoba, just to make sure the Almohads don't try any funny business. And that should be good. So yeah, this Inquisitor is going to cause me some issues here. He's kind of killing my dudes. And even though I don't have anything here that I'm really worried about, as long as he doesn't kill my family, I'm not too worried. But it would be nice to get rid of him anyway. So where do I want to do this? The issue is I have so many provinces that have this iron resource, which is going to be a really good province to train actual combat troops and not something like an emissary or an assassin, or ships for that matter. So Aragon, Navarre, Castile, and Leon all have iron deposits, which is insane. That's really, really crazy. There's not too many iron deposits throughout the rest of the map. I think maybe Hungary has an iron deposit, and I think there's a place over here that has one. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with this map, to be honest. But there's a couple more, but not too many more. There might be one in the British Isles, but to have 4 of them is pretty insane, which is great, but it doesn't really make me want to have to train assassins in one of those provinces because I may as well be training troops. But Valencia does seem like a good idea because I don't have any iron deposits here. Yeah, how about it? How about I get going with a tavern? Yeah. So the order of things is a little bit different here in medieval compared to Shogun. Whereas in Shogun, you can essentially build a tea house so you can start training shinobi right away. In medieval Total War, it's tavern first, which I think becomes available at a keep level. Yeah, tier 2. I'm pretty sure it's not available at a tier 1 fort. I can actually take a look at this. Leon has a new fort in place. And can I actually build a tavern here? No, I cannot. Right? Yeah, master horse breeder. Okay. Can I train anything here? Oh, I can train Genites right away in Leon. Wow, that's awesome. Sweet. Because I kept this building from the Spanish. Oh, that's really awesome, actually. Well, I'm going to start building a trading post and a port right away. But yeah, back to the topic. So I can build a tavern, so I can train up these assassins right away. And then, actually, for spies, it's not till you get to a castle, I believe. Tier 3 castle, they take a long time. 12 years, 12 turns to build. 2,000 florins to build it up. And then you can build a brothel, I believe it is. And that's going to allow you to train spies. So it takes a long time. They really did nerf spies in this game compared to what they could do in Shogun, which I guess is a good thing for those of you who did watch my Shogun campaigns. I think a couple of you actually did make fun of me for how many shinobi I like to use. They're just so useful. I mean, come on. They take care of your population loyalty, and you can place them in your enemy's territories to cause revolts. They're just so fun to use. In this game, they nerfed them by making their effects not be cumulative, so that you can't play 6 of them and then tank your neighbor's population loyalty and start a rebellion. It's only going to be the spy that has the highest valor. He's going to be the only one that actually tanks your neighbor's province's population loyalty. So it's only going to be one, not going to be, a bunch of spies. And same thing with your own population loyalty. You can keep, one in each province to help you out, but not more than that. Frankly, I didn't use more than 1 per province in Shogun. I felt like 1 was enough. But I definitely, when I was playing the Imagawa, I like to have fun to use my spies to really tank the population loyalty. And I also use them to protect my family from like assassins and, and geishas and stuff. Which is pertinent here, but I feel like I've never lost a family member to an assassin in this game. I don't think I have, knock on wood. So, I mean, maybe this Inquisitor is going to change things. So, yeah, let's get this tavern going so I can get this assassins going, because this could become a little bit of a nuisance. And while I'm at it, I may as well kill these Almohad emissaries that are just kind of spying on me here in Granada and Cordoba. I can keep the Italian princess alive, though. She's not bothering me. And this French emissary as well. I can probably kill these guys just because, you know what? Yeah, no spies in my territory. Thank you very much. I did end up building a defensive upgrade for my castle there in Granada, just in case they do put my 2 peasants that are hanging out there under siege. They can just kind of hang out there forever, because I'm pretty sure the defensive upgrades do add to the amount of time that units can last under siege. And then the Pope wants to be my ally. I would love to have my Pope as an ally. I have no intention of attacking any Christians now that the Spanish are dead. And let's see, this guy is argumentative, plus 1 dread, plus 2 valor. Alright. Okie dokie. And how's my income looking? Yeah, 1,400. That is okay, I suppose. Just need to get more boats in the water, and I'm working on it. 1 turn away before I have another boat here in Valencia. And once that's finished, I can link up my boats over here to these boats over here, so then these provinces can start making money as well off of all of my trade that's going this way. So, yeah, I'm making progress here. I'm reaching out. And I'm getting into these provinces. It looks like Ooh, yeah, it looks like, so the Byzantines do have Trebizond, but then the Egyptians have Anatolia and then Rum. Yeah, this is a good little scrap between these 2 nations. Who am I rooting for in this one? Egypt, I think. Who am I actually rooting for? Yeah, the Byzantines have the most points, so go Egypt. Yeah, kick ass, for sure. I would love to go help out. At some point down the line, after I've taken Antioch, I would love to send a crusade to Constantinople. You see, crusades don't have to be on your glorious achievements for you to send them. If you just get a crusade sanctioned by the Pope, you can just crusade against anyone that's either not Catholic or is Catholic, but they are excommunicated. So, I believe that's the French right now. You can tell because, you might not be able to see this. I can see this on my screen, but the Catholic factions have a cross, right? Like I have a silver cross there, the Germans have a silver cross. The excommunicated Catholic factions like France have a broken cross because they've been bad. It also just says at the bottom there that the French are currently excommunicated. That tends to happen when you go to war against fellow Catholics. Now, in my case, I got away with going to war with the Spanish because I think it's because we were both similar sized. I think a lot of times if you are the bigger nation and you're attacking a smaller Catholic faction, a lot of times then you'll get excommunicated. However, yeah, it's interesting because what will typically happen is the Pope will send you a warning, right? and you will have 2 years to end the war, which means that you can actually kind of blitz the enemy in like 2 years to try to beat a faction that, you know, you want to go to war with without getting excommunicated. What also can happen is that you simply take your gains that you can get in a couple, you know, years and then wait 10 turns, because that's what you have to do. You have to wait 10 turns, and then that warning goes away, and then you can basically go to war again with that same faction. Another option, and this is another way of getting around that, is that what you can do is you can attack a faction that you have no intention of really going to war with. Like you can, like, say, fight one of their ships, for example. The Pope will say, hey, knock it off. And then your warning for that smaller faction, it's like he's distracted and he'll see that one, and then he can just attack someone and he won't even notice. It's just kind of funny how that works. It feels kind of like a cheat. Honestly, though, for me personally, the Pope mechanic in this game is kind of chintzy anyway, so finding any way to get around it is something that I'm not too concerned with. There are certain game mechanics that I don't like to use because the AI doesn't like to, or doesn't, you know, isn't capable of using it. There was certain things in Shogun that I didn't like to do just because the AI wasn't capable of doing it. So I do draw the line in some places, but in this case, I'm not too worried about it. Honestly, the fact that the Pope might not be able to keep track of 2 wars does seem like a funny thing to me. And yeah, it's dumb, but you know what? That might be an actual way of getting around it. Like, you know, really. Like, you know, maybe he just didn't notice. So, if at any point I do decide to go to war with, for example, the French, that might be what I have to do, is to kind of maybe attack someone else first, distract the Pope, and then just say, like, all right, I need to screw over the French because they're getting too big. And they often do. They often do get pretty big. I mean, somehow they just beat everyone and go to war with everyone, and they just do really, really well. But luckily, I am on their borders, so, you know, if the time comes for it, I can just go, hey, all right, screw you, I'm taking their territories, and then I can give them back. I don't care. Sometimes it's good to take someone's territories right before the homelands points are counted so that they don't get any of their points for homelands. And that's just a way of knocking down their glorious achievement score, and that could allow me to catch up. And I don't even really necessarily want their territories. I just want to hang out here in Iberia. And yeah, Antioch once I get it. Same thing with Constantinople. Like, I don't want Constantinople, but I would like to launch a crusade and take Constantinople just so I can weaken them and give the Egyptians an easier time of potentially fighting the Byzantines. And yeah, because the Byzantines have the highest point score, so I kind of want to knock them down a peg, you know? So that's going to be the plan with that. And in the meantime, yeah, I'm making money, but yeah, still it's a work in progress. I'm working on this upgraded merchant building here in Cordoba, and I'm working on this trading post here in Leon, so yeah, it's coming along, but I definitely need more boats in the water. It appears that the Polish are sending assassins to try to go after me here. Luckily, they were caught by my bodyguards in this case. Since I don't have any spies, they were not caught by my spies, but they were caught by my border forts, which I do build in literally every single province that I have because they are so useful. Trading port has been finished in Leon, and the constitutions of Clarendon. The King of England has issued 16 articles defining all the legal dealings between the church and his servants. These articles limit the powers and the rights of the clergy and the Pope when dealing with English matters. The English king gains +1 influence and -1 piety as a result. Pretty cool stuff, but it looks like they are gonna die to the French pretty soon. And anything that really matters here, nothing too crazy. Secret bad temper, so doesn't really matter. +1 dread, +2 valor. And thinker. Well, his love of abstract thought has made this man clever. It has also made him question matters of faith. -2 piety, +2 acumen. And now that I have this ship finished, I'm able to link, finally, these provinces up here with their trading network all the way to my trade network. It's going to be reaching out to the Mirtun Sea. So that's going to feel really good because I will be making some money off of this port here in Castile. And yeah, once I can also trade from Leon and Portugal, that's going to be really good for me as well. So that's going to That should increase my income by a bit. Hopefully, I'm probably not, too much, but I'm sitting at 1,500 right now, and that should help out by a bit. Let's get that second tier defensive structure upgrade for my keep here in Granada. It's going to be a catapult, or no, sorry, not my keep, but my castle. And yeah, it's going to give me catapult towers, which is really going to be awesome. I probably, they probably won't attack me here, but actually, yeah, I could probably use a castle in Cordoba because they can just bypass my castle in Granada and attack my keep here in Cordoba. And that does not have catapult towers. I have ballista towers here instead, which are not as powerful, but you know what? I don't think the Almohads want to attack me. I think at this point they're kind of relegated to kind of hanging out in North Africa and just kind of chilling on. Be like, yeah, you know what? We're on the Mediterranean. Life is good. We don't really need to, attack and fight any longer. And if that was the case, I'd be totally cool with that because I'm thinking the same way. You know what? I'm hanging out in Spain. Let's just kind of make money. Let's make money. I don't need to fight. I mean, I'll take Antioch, but I'll try to take that without a fight, if you know what I mean. If I just kind of put all my soldiers there and they go, hey, no, whoa, that's way too many guys. They won't fight me. So that's going to be the strategy with Antioch. We're getting to the end of this episode, but you know what? Let's drop another save and just end one more turn, just to wrap this one up on the year 1165. See if anything happens here. Probably not. Hopefully no one attacks me because I don't think I have enough time to fit this into this episode. But yeah, I don't think. Oh my god. Oh dear. That was literally mid-sentence. So they did attack Granada. Interesting. Bad timing because that means I will have to cancel out that building that I just put in. That catapult towers had to get canceled out. Luckily, it's pretty cheap, so it's not a big deal. So that 300, I think it's 300 florins is going to be wasted, but yeah, it's only 300 florins. Obviously, I can't win this. Peasants versus those guys. I'm just going to retreat to the stronghold. That's the whole point of this. And yeah, Granada's lost, which is, it's a tricky border to hold. They could keep doing this. I mean, obviously I'm going to send soldiers to Granada to, fight for it again. But I don't want to have to keep fighting over Granada, So maybe I just treat this like a two-border province, which it is. It is a two-border province. I just was hoping that I could kind of hold it Cordoba But yeah, having them, luckily they don't burn down buildings, by taking Granada. They have to actually take the castle that way. So it is different from Shogun in that way. So yeah, it's not, it's not the end of the world, but yeah, it can obviously throw a wrench in my plans. The King of France has died from an illness, so his heir is taken over, and then I have a daughter on the way. Treaty canceled, so let's see. So yeah, the Sicilians have taken my side in this. They've canceled their treaty with the Almohads. And he suggests that fortresses are a key to the strong defense, and a strong defense allows a stronger attack. He'll assist in this strategy. Hey, thanks guys. Thanks, Sicily. And the Polish chose the Almohads. Okay. I mean, I guess I should have known because they were trying to assassinate me, so screw you guys. And the Danes, the freaking Danes chose the Almohads. Why? What, because they have a lot in common? Yeah, screw you. Don Sancho Velazquez, deep thinker. So he's really digging into the books these days. -3 piety plus 3 acumen. So he's a smart guy, but he's pretty sure that God does not exist. All right, well, that's not how I was intending to end this episode, but it was not a big deal. I can simply, sweep into Cordoba or Granada and take this back. It's a little bit tricky because obviously I can't just leave Cordoba undefended. They do have an army here in Morocco, which is really sizable. It's tricky though because this could go either way. They could reinforce Granada with this army, or they could attack Cordoba if I bring this entire army from Cordoba to Granada. So I have to kind of figure that one out. I have to probably bring some soldiers down from maybe Aragon to kind of help me out here as well. I'm pretty sure I can move down here. Yes, I can because I have my ships linking my provinces together. So I can't simply bring some soldiers from Aragon down to Cordoba to kind of help me hold out here. and that should be fine. Let me look at my treasury. Yeah, that did not increase my treasury at all. So it's too bad. I don't think the Almohads have any boats in the water. Yeah, I don't think so. So I don't have to worry about a naval war. But yeah, that is too bad. I was hoping that we could just kind of have peace and love. I was just literally saying that it looks like you guys were kind of happy hanging out in North Africa. And clearly that's not the case. Clearly you guys actually want to win the game too, which makes sense. But you know what? To each their own. I'm going to keep working on my boats once I kick you out of my territory. And that is going to be fine. But that is all going to have to wait until next time. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And thank you very much for watching. I've been Conasep, and this has been Medieval Total War. Thank you very much. And goodbye.